Question: with all the we all agree that there's immense talent on the roster in WWE, and you're just talking about they're trying to sign somebody, another person from AEW. Do you feel SmackDown should be
Several.
3 hours?
No,
Mm,
I don't think
interesting.
Raw should be 3 hours.
Interesting.
They have a tremendous amount of talent, and that's why certain people like Bobby Lashley. That's one of the reasons I do feel he kind of got deprioritized. For one, he did confirm that he was injured, but with his age and you have a flux of talent, not everybody gets to hold the baton at the same time. That's just a truism. And
Mm,
as of now, there's been news this week that the Lucha Brothers are going to
yeah,
sign with WWE.
I heard
Penta
that.
and Phoenix. Have you ever seen them wrestle?
I haven't seen a wrestle, but no, I haven't seen a wrestle.
They do some insane. if you like who would I compare them to currently? In the same vein of like Ricochet doing the crazy spots and what he can do from an athletic standpoint,
Uh-huh.
they just have been plagued by injuries in AEW. That's my biggest concern with them. But I've always liked them, the Lucha Brothers, and then Ricky Stark and a few others maybe. But yeah, those are the big ones. But with that being the case, is like when you start adding new talents, even when they call people up from NXT, there's a lot of people who haven't gotten their moment in the sun that we would have liked to have seen.
Mm-hmm.
With each new introduction of these new top stars, even with Joe Hendry that they got from TNA, I mean, he's pretty much airborne. He's gonna sign with WWE eventually. The more people you add like that, the less likely it is for people already on the card to get their moment because, like I said, not everybody gets their moment in the sun. So that Montez Ford singles run is looking less and less likely. They haven't even won the tag titles yet, which is freaking insane. They've been on the main roster for
So you're saying the
ridiculous
show?
time.
So you're saying the show being 3 hours is gonna limit?
No, the show that would provide more opportunities for people to get over and do things on the screen.
Right.
But I'm just not, from a personal standpoint, I'm not a fan of 3 hour shows. To me, I feel like that's just too long. That's too much content.
Interesting.
And it provides a lot of room for them to get lazy. Like, I know you heard of the law, I forget what it is, but we talked about this in project management course that I took, and people have talked about this at work and things like that. But a task expands to take the amount of time that you give it. So if they need to make a good show and you tell them they have 2 hours, they'll get it done. But if you tell them it's 3 hours, then the more time you have, the more they have to try to put stuff together, and it's not always good. That's one of the reasons that SmackDown was great historically when it did have these historic runs, like in the era of, I think it may have been 2017, where you had John Cena, you had Dean Ambrose, you had AJ Styles, you had a pretty loaded roster, and it benefited because they didn't have a lot of the hokey crap going on. It was just straight action. You got what you wanted to see, and the show was over. You weren't sitting there just having your brain go numb because you were watching Austin and Waller on your screen every week for a 20-minute time slot. I mean, do you really want to see Grayson Waller and Austin Theory imagine instead of this exchange they had with the Street Profits this week, now stretch that out and give them 20 minutes of screen time every week. 20 to 30 minutes. That's exactly what would happen.
You know my answer to that. I do not want to see that, but that's the thing. That's the thing. If you stretch it out, it doesn't always have to be.
It doesn't have to.
Yeah,
that's what they're
gonna
do.
Theory and Waller. It could be put somebody else who deserves that time in there. Like
could.
Kind of what I feel what they do with Raw. What they do with Raw, they kind of showcase more of the lesser talent, like Sonya Deville. They be giving the stud line like 3 different matches in the night. Like
that match was terrible. By the
way. Yeah. So it just, I think with the 3 hour show, it just gives you more opportunity. But if you feel even with that 3 hour show, they're still going to focus on the people you don't want them to focus on, then I guess.
I mean, the less time I'm not going to argue that SmackDown and Raw should only be an hour, but I'm saying that the less time you have for a show, the more pressure creative has to make an impact of the time they have. Okay. If you give them 3 hours, I don't think it's going to bode well for anybody. They might get some more exposure, but I think in the long term it'll do more damage than good.